Friends, the long-awaited RP6 is finally here. While using the RP5, many of you likely thought, if only the RP5's processor could be upgraded to a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, that would be amazing. Or perhaps you wish the RP5's left joystick could be repositioned to the top. Well, the RP6 has fulfilled all of those desires for you, and it's fantastic. While maintaining the RP5's compact form factor, the processor has been upgraded to a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, achieving a benchmark score of 1.7 million. Furthermore, you have the flexibility to customize the left joystick's layout, opting for either the D-pad or the joystick to be positioned at the top, a truly user-centric design choice. Personally, especially for more robust devices, I actually prefer having the left joystick positioned on top. That's precisely why I went with that specific model this time around. My unit has 8GB RAM plus 128GB storage. For those who feel 8GB RAM is small, the manufacturer pre-installed 4GB virtual memory. This 4GB of virtual memory is enabled by default, so you don't need to do any setup to get it. If you find that 4GB of virtual memory is insufficient for your needs, you have the option to navigate to Settings, then Handheld Settings, followed by Advanced Settings. From there, you can execute a script with root privileges and choose a 4GB virtual memory script. Once this script is finished running, your device's virtual memory will be expanded to 8GB, providing additional capacity. The handheld screen is a 5.5-inch OLED display with a 1920 by 1080 resolution, and it supports a high refresh rate of up to 120 Hz. Let's switch the shutter speed to 1/4000th of a second to check out its screen flicker performance. Let's adjust the brightness now. Currently, it's at its maximum level. We'll decrease it to about halfway, and then further reduce it to around a quarter. As you can see, the lines on this screen are incredibly fine and dense, clearly indicating it utilizes high-frequency PWM dimming. Let's place an iPhone alongside it to observe the distinct difference when contrasted with low-frequency PWM dimming. It features a global high-frequency PWM dimming system. If you observe the screen with a microscope, you'll see that it utilizes a delta arrangement for its pixels. This is a very common arrangement for domestically produced OLED screens. Those who appreciate the RP5 and 5.5 models were undoubtedly captivated by their compact, portable design and commendable performance. The RP6, while maintaining its portability, further elevates its performance to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 level. It truly can be called a pocket rocket handheld device. Its 5.5-inch screen, thanks to its very narrow bezels, means that when compared to the Switch Lite, which also has a 5.5-inch screen, its overall size is actually slightly smaller. This is directly attributable to its ultra-narrow bezel design. And because the back has a grip, its thickness is a bit more substantial than that of the Switch Lite. When you compare it to the RP 5.5, the RP6 is ever so slightly wider, just by a tiny amount. And when compared to the Odin 3, these two handheld devices look incredibly similar. Even though they originate from different manufacturers, the Odin 3 truly appears like its elder sibling. Next, let's examine the button feel and configuration. The RP6 still utilizes the same joysticks found in the RP5 and 5.5, but now features joystick caps with anti-slip edges. Due to their compact size and minimal protrusion, these caps ensure they never obstruct your hand during use. The D-pad uses the standard rubber membrane with a dome switch design, a favorite of both Retroid Pocket and AYN. As for the four-face buttons, they use conductive rubber and feel somewhat soft to the touch. The two shoulder buttons employing micro-switches are a tad firm and take a little more effort to press. The twin triggers are Hall-effect linear ones, making them superb for streaming use. On the back of this handheld device, you'll also find two additional function buttons which are fully customizable to suit your preferences. Here you can see the air intake vent for the active cooling, with the air exhaust vent on top. Below the intake, you can see there's a dust filter screen. Even though there's no text on the back, the official website states it has a 6000 mAh battery. The bottom features a TF card slot with a cover, a 3.5mm headphone jack, and a full-featured Type-C port. The handheld's front is covered by a glass panel, and if you view the color beneath the panel from a specific angle, you'll notice it possesses a subtle textured pattern, rather than being a completely plain solid color. And the other plastic components of the handheld undergo a high-grade UV spray coating process, giving it a noticeably brighter appearance when viewed under light. Now, let's examine the weight of this handheld device. The RP6 tips the scales at 307 grams. To put that into perspective, the RP 5.5 weighs 270 grams. The Odin 3 is a bit heavier at 386 grams, and the Switch Lite comes in at 286 grams. This gives us a solid basis for comparison among similar devices. I think 307 grams is quite good for a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2's performance. Now let's proceed with the performance test. We've actually put numerous 8 Gen 2 devices through their paces before. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 CPU not only boasts formidable performance, but also offers outstanding compatibility. It's truly a CPU that can conquer any retro game emulator challenges. Its performance level allows it to run PS2 games smoothly at 4x resolution and 3DS games smoothly at 4x resolution. It can also run quite a few games on the NS emulator and PC emulator. Today, our main focus will center on whether this 8GB RAM version is truly sufficient for everyday use. Will it crash when running NS games or PC emulators? Let's give it a try today and find out. Before we start the game test, let's first check the virtual memory configuration. My virtual memory is currently set to an 8+8 configuration. It's 6:42 in the morning right now, so let's go ahead and play some Breath of the Wild and see exactly how long it can last without any crashes. It is now 7:49 a.m. I've already been playing for an entire hour straight, and surprisingly, there have been absolutely no crashes whatsoever, which is truly fantastic. So, let's take a moment to examine the current virtual memory usage situation. There's still 5.9 gigabytes of physical memory available. It seems that after some optimization, this emulator doesn't consume as much memory as it used to, which is a significant improvement. Next, let's take a look at the PC emulator's operational status and how it performs. Now let's start the game. This is Final Fantasy VII Remake, loaded on my system. 128 gigabytes of internal storage isn't sufficient for Final Fantasy VII Remake, so it's installed on my TF card. As you can see, the current frame rate is 20 frames per second, with both the CPU and GPU almost fully utilized. Memory usage has also reached 94%. Oh, it crashed. It seems 8 gigabytes of RAM is still quite a stretch for PC games. The memory was completely maxed out, and virtual memory didn't kick in at all. It appears that virtual memory simply has no effect whatsoever when it comes to playing games through this specific PC emulator. While we're at it, let's take a look at the battery life situation. I started playing this morning with a full 100% charge, and after about an hour and a half of continuous gameplay, the battery has depleted by 32%. Based on my calculations, the battery life for playing NS emulator games should be approximately 3 hours or perhaps a bit longer. Now let's shift our focus to the performance of some retro games. So, right now, I have installed the Express Edition of the Pegasus frontend along with the RP5 configuration pack. Mr. Dagwan's configuration packs are truly exquisite, aren't they? Let's dive into the GBA game, Zelda, the Minish Cap. This specific configuration pack provides the GBA with pixel-perfect scaling for the display, along with a reflective border overlay that dynamically changes color, thereby enhancing the visual experience. This configuration is quite performance-intensive, needing at least a Snapdragon 865 or a more powerful setup for smooth operation. We will now zoom in on the display to observe the real-time visual performance and check the effects. The pixel-perfect effect is incredibly noticeable. For NDS games, Mr. Dagwan has thoughtfully pre-configured all the overlays for us. We can definitely activate an HD 3D option, which enables high-resolution 3D rendering. Now, doesn't the image appear significantly clearer, with a much crisper and more defined visual quality? Now let's take a look and see exactly how well 3DS games actually perform on this device. With a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor playing 3DS emulator games, the frame rate is stable, and compatibility is excellent, with no graphical errors. The PS2 emulator enables smooth gameplay for most titles at 4 times the resolution, largely without any hiccups or performance issues. It runs smoothly at 4x resolution, but there's really no need to set it that high, is there? See? The resolution is already far exceeding the screen's native resolution. Setting it to even 3 times is more than enough to maximize this screen's display capabilities. Setting the resolution a bit lower can also help to conserve some power. And that concludes today's gaming experience rundown. This handheld, as a compact, high-performance little powerhouse, definitely delivers ample performance to fulfill your retro gaming demands. The 8GB RAM plus 128GB model starts at 1,499 yuan, even running some NS games well. But if you're looking to dive deeper into emulating PC games, then you'll definitely need to choose a version with a larger memory capacity. That brings us to the end of our experience for today. If you have any further questions, feel free to leave a comment below.